Hello, guys. Today seems to be the day of tech issues. I don't know if Ed's having a few Wi-Fi problems or quite what's happening, but bear with us. Trying to get him on with a reliable connection as soon as we can. I really hope we can get Ed on because he's doing some absolutely amazing stuff at the school that he works at in Dorchester, and I interviewed him for my podcast last year, I think it was, and was just kind of blown away by all the things that he'd done and starting completely from scratch at his school. They were doing nothing, and he decided he wanted to sort of introduce some things, and they introduced some things. But I also wanted to ask him or to see if he could share some ideas for us. Obviously, like we're all homeschooling at the moment. Hi, Ed. Let's see if that works. Waiting for Ed to reconnect. This is the problem we keep having. I don't know if Ed's Wi-Fi keeps booting him out. We need to put another coin in the meter or feed the donkey with a little bit more. Get it going a bit stronger. Well, the donkey that powers the treadmill for the internet. See, this is every day's a school day. Samuel's learning that this is how the internet is powered. No, it's not working. So I'm just going to talk a bit about Ed and the amazing stuff he does, and hope that he can come on and take over from me. And if we can't make this work, then we will see if we can endeavour to reschedule for another time. So I hope that's okay. Give me a thumbs up or a yes or something. If you've got any questions, maybe pop them in the chat now, and I can do my very amateur best to put some ideas your way, or maybe collectively we can share some ideas and things. Ed works for Damer's First School, works at Damer's First School in Dorchester. And like I said, he sort of started from nothing there and managed to build it up. So they've reached a point where they were awarded Surface Against Sewage, did their sort of first ever awards program last year, and Damer's First School won the Surface Against Sewage Sustainable or Plastic Free Schools Award, and they've had loads of other awards. I want to say they've met David Attenborough, but I might well be lying. They've certainly, they've done all kinds of amazing stuff. Guys, can you guys just let me know that you can hear me, because I'm kind of just chatting away and not seeing anything happening in the chat, and like I said, we're struggling to get. Katie says yes, fabulous. Katie, if Ed can't come on, would you might want to come on and tell us all about scrap stores? That would be and thank you guys. If you're willing to jump on at short notice, that might be interesting. And if we can't get Ed on, and then we could rearrange Ed's session. Let me know, Katie, if you'd be up for that at very short notice. The other thing I wanted Ed to come and share with us is not only the brilliant stuff he was doing at their school, but also some of the really simple ways. And once he told me, I was like, why had I not thought of that? But ways that you can either integrate a bit of sustainability into your homeschooling, or a bit of homeschooling into your sustainability. So things like, I think he said one of the first activities that they did, let's see if I can invite him back on again, can do nothing prepared though. That's fine. Let's just have one more go with Ed. One of the first activities he said they did as a school was a litter pick. And I was like, awesome, that's great. You go and do a litter pick, but there's so many different elements of the curriculum that you can bring into that litter pick. So then they'd collate all the rubbish. Then they could do bar charts of like the different types of rubbish they'd produced, and the numbers of different items and things like that. So loads of maths that you can bring in there. Loads of geography, looking at where plastic can end up if we don't, if it does end up in the environment and gets into waterways. Stuff around activism and literacy, because you can then get the children to write letters to the companies and asking them, telling them that they found all this rubbish from them, and asking them, what are they going to do about it, and those kinds of things. So just from one activity, I was so impressed that there were all these different strands of the curriculum that they managed to pull in from that. And then, another thing I was thinking about was, fair enough, we might not all want to go litter picking at the moment because we've been careful about what we're touching and all that kind of thing. But Teresa and Mary from Sisters Against Plastic were on earlier, and they were talking about, a really good starting point for starting to work on your plastic is to do a plastic audit. So collect all your plastic. They did it every month, all their plastic from a month. But if you can just do a week, and I would say get your kids, say, look, guys, I'm a bit worried about the amount of plastic that we're using. Have you, especially if they've been doing something about it at school, do you know some of the, these are the reasons why I'm a little bit worried. And obviously you do that in an age appropriate way. Have a big box, get them to draw a sign for it or something that says all plastic goes in here, and then all your plastic for the week goes in there. And you'll probably be cursing yourself for getting them involved, because then they'll be your like plastic police, and you'll be trying to sneak a chocolate bar wrapper or something into the bin because you've snuck it without them knowing. And they'll be like, oh no, that's got to go in the plastic thing. And so doing that and getting them involved. And then what you can do is tip it all out and in the middle of the kitchen floor or whatever as a family, and go through it. And again, you can do those same things. You can make a we'll count the total number of items that we've got, and then can we do again, depending on the age of your kids, can we do a bar chart of the number of plastic bottles we've got, the number of what's the proportion of recyclable to non-recyclable that we've got, and then again, a really lovely geography project about plastic. Where does it come from? Where's it going? What happens? What's some of the damage that it causes to wildlife? Can we write some letters to the people, to some of these manufacturers? Can we write to our MP to find out what's going on? So loads of really lovely stuff. You could do a whole timeline of plastic if you wanted to get some history in there as well. So actually, with a little bit of thought, I think there's some really, really lovely ways that you can just sneak a bit of home learning into some other stuff. I'm going to have one last go inviting Ed, and if not, Katie, you might be our understudy. See if we can, because I know lots of people were really interested in scrap stores when they've been mentioned a few times recently. Let me just cancel that. It has been a day of tech issues today. I was, sat here feeling really smug that we were not having any tech issues and it was all going so smoothly. And then I don't know if any of you were on the last session just before lunch. It was a real issue trying to get Sam and Tracy kind of on and working. Just check I haven't got any messages from Ed anywhere. Sorry about this, guys. Thank you for your patience. Just check there's no email. No. Right. Katie, if you're happy, I'm going to get you to come on and tell us all about scrap stores. Are you happy to do that, Katie? I feel like okay, let's do this. Oh, hold on. Ed's back, Katie. Bear with me 1 second. I know I keep saying one last try. Katie's like there, and then she's not, and then she's there. One last try, and then we'll rearrange Ed and we'll get Katie on to do a little talk on scrap stores for us. I'm
here.
Yay!
It was on the wrong internet setting.
Oh man. Oh.
Take the plug out, put the plug back in, it works.
Turn it off and turn it on again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, what a nightmare.
Oh, well done. Bless Katie. Katie, and Katie, we'll have to get you on somehow to do.
Sorry, Katie, sorry.
Scrap store. I don't know if you come across scrap stores, if you got one near you.
I have, yeah.
And she was going to jump in at short notice and do a little bit for us. I was just singing your praises in the interim, telling people a little bit about kind of what you're doing. But are you happy with that screen share thing now? How to share your screen if you want to? Yes,
I think I've sorted it.
Okay, yep. So you click on the share screen, and then you get a few different options along the top, and you want application window, and you should be able to find your PowerPoint. There we go. Perfect. We can see that. So
awesome.
I'll disappear, shall I? I'll just turn my camera and my mic off. I'm here if anything techie goes wrong.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye on the chat. And guys, if you've got specific questions for Ed, pop them in the Ask a Question box, and I'll pop back on at the end and we'll run through those questions. So
awesome.
Yeah, over to you, Ed. Thank you.
Okay, cheers, Jen. Sorry about that, everybody. Yeah, a bit of a technical issue, but these things come to try us. Right, my name's Edd Moore, and I'm here to talk to you today about Home School Sustainably. I just wanted to talk a quick bit about myself and how this all started. Back at Damer's First School in Dorchester. And this is how it all started. This is all where it all began. This was, funny enough, the garden. I started as an NQT 8 years ago, and this was the garden that the children had to grow with. Not a lot, really. So I decided that, children need to know where the food came from. They thought their food came from Tesco's, and they thought they had no idea about recycling or what should be recycled, what they can and what they couldn't recycle. And I thought, children really need to know about their world and the world they're living in. And so I made a garden, and from then on, it just went from strength to strength. And this is our garden now. Really lucky, really fortunate. About 4 years ago, we made a plastic bottle greenhouse with the fire brigade. Had all year free on the field making it, and we grow all kinds of things now in our garden, which is for everybody to share. And we got some fantastic volunteers that come and help us every afternoon, so we could get all the children out gardening, which is really important. We're a RHS 5-star garden, and a few years ago we came second in the Cultivation Street school gardening competition. We got picked to the post by a secondary school, but we did fantastically well, and the children did as well. And they just love being in the garden, and I love being in the garden too. We've got a food waste composter, so all our food waste is put into this composter from lunchtime to snack times. No food waste leaves our site, and then we make lovely compost for our school garden, or we sell it for a donation to the community or parents that come to our school. So from the garden, we do all kinds of things, try and get the children out, campaigning. And one of the big campaigns that we've done for the last sort of 3 years is on single-use plastic. And the children led Plastic Free Dorchester. And so far to date, they've signed up 84 businesses to remove at least 3 single-use plastics, which is a phenomenal achievement by them. And they want to keep going, and they want to get to 100. And they made the town achieve the Surface Gate Sewage plastic-free communities back in July 2019, and we were the third town in Dorset to achieve such things. We recycle all kinds of things at school, from crisp packets to cake wrappers. This year alone, we've raised about £1,000 for the school. We also do cartridges as well, and there's collection bins in our local Waitrose and post offices. And we couldn't have done this without the support and the help from the WI, who you see in the picture. They come and help and sort our items for us, and they box them all. Without the support of the Rotary as well, these kinds of things can't happen. So I really encourage, if you want to do an eco school in your school, really get community on board and get the WI. They're doing fantastic things at the moment as well, making their masks and the gowns, the NHS, and big shout out there to Jackie and the team. We're really thankful for them for helping us with our recycling that you can't recycle at the curbside. We've done a big thing on Refill Dorset to a point where Newsround were interested to do a little piece on us about 2 years ago, and and since then we've got about 50 businesses, I think, within Dorchester signed up, where people can go and they see the sticker and they can go and refill their bottle for free with free water, which is a great little initiative set up by City to Sea and Refill and Natty Fee. And then we went on. So we're about 95%, I would say, single-use plastic free at school. And it all started with turning our cartons back to glass bottles and beakers and getting our fruits in cardboard boxes, and the children wanting the town council and the duchy to have water fountains, which are apparently coming hopefully by the end of this year. So fingers crossed. And they've done all this through writing letters, really powerful letters to these organisations to get their message across. And it's worked really well. This is another initiative that we started. Burrowing Bags, where we got people of the local community to donate unwanted material, and we encourage lots of groups in the town to make these bags to try and reduce plastic bags in shops. So if you walk down your road and you think, oh my word, I've got a bag, don't worry, because in Dorchester, in independent shops, you can pick up a Burrowing bag, you go in, you do your shopping, go home, and then you bring your bag back at any point when you've got your own reusable bag with you. And Prince Charles was really interested in this scheme, and he came and opened it back last year in May. And you can see the children from the school presenting him with a bag, and we had so much good support from the Lions and the WI again and Rotary, and loads of schools got involved and lots of community groups, churches. It was great little initiative for health and well-being, particularly getting children and adults out mixing together and talking to each other. And yeah, it was an amazing community project, which is still going now. About 2 years ago, I think someone's even spoken about this on the workshops this week. So the children came up with Waxtastic No Plastic, which is basically beeswax wraps, and we had lots of material donated again. We had the PTA cutting out the material, and this was all part of a young enterprise fiver challenge, where you get given £5 to start up your business, and then you give back the money. You give back the money that you borrowed, and you keep what's left after that. It's been an amazing initiative. We've run it the last 3 years with our eco products, and so far today children have raised £4,500. I think it's really important that children learn about business and how to sell a product, and the fact it's eco as well is even more good. And they work with a graphic designer to design the logo. But yeah, they came up with the name. They came up with everything. And the money went towards a naturarium pond for the school, which is pretty cool. But yeah, our main thing is we follow eco schools. We follow the 7 steps and the topics. And I think that this can actually be brought into the home. And this is what I've been trying to do at my school. So getting families to set up their own eco committee, which is their family, having an eco environmental review within their house of what they do, what great things they do within their household, what are not so good things that they do, but they can improve on. And then in your action plan, setting out some good targets of, what could you change within your house? Could you reduce single-use plastic? Could you start growing some plant-based food to cook with? Could you find ways that you could reuse items within your home? And then sort of monitoring that by seeing how well you're doing, and so on. But yeah, this is what we usually follow in school, but I've been trying to encourage my parents at home to follow these steps, because I think it's a really good thing. And Eco Schools is a fantastic organisation that's been going for about 26 years now. So from what I've said to you, I think you can probably take what I've done in school, and you can also then bring it into the home, and that's what I've been trying to do. So a popular thing that my children have really enjoyed is doing a plastic pollution investigation. So looking at all the identification codes on the plastic, looking at the properties of plastic and what certain types of different plastics are made of, and rummaging around in the recycling bins and at home, or looking at the plastic that you buy within your home, and seeing what the properties of plastic that you have. I think the children at school really enjoyed looking at what the plastic is made of, and also understanding what those triangles are with the numbers are in, which has just been a real insight for them, as it is. So another thing you could do at home is you could do a single-use plastic audit of your home. You could take it room by room, which would be really cool. Seeing what items in the kitchen you could reduce or find an alternative for. What else? And then here I've got the less plastics poster. Good old Amanda. She's got some really fantastic posters that you can use within your home or within your school. That's a really good one. And then making products at home. We've got obviously the Waxtastic No Plastic, which is the beeswax wraps, which some of you have probably seen how to be made. And I really recommend, asking your local beekeepers and your local beekeeper associations for some wax, because they'll have so much that they just don't know what to do with it. So definitely worth asking them. We've also got the wildflower seeds, the garden grenades, where you can use paper, put it down into a pulp using a blender. Don't use your mum's blender like I did. I borrowed my mum's blender and I blew it up. So that was another insight. And then mix it with wildflower seeds, and then literally put them into ice cube holders, let them set, and then you can put them into the ground. They grow up into lovely flowers. Or we've got what the other children came up with 2 or 3 years ago, Spick and Span, which is sodium bicarbonate with tartar, cream of tartar, and coconut oil. And literally it cleans anything and everything. Even cleans brass, gets stains out your carpet, stains out of your clothes. You can even use it as an air freshener if you put some scents in there as well. Make them, give them as presents, keep them for yourself, even sell them. Sell them for money. These are all the products that we've made and we've sold at school, in a collection, probably making about £7,500, I think, for the school in all. So yeah, definitely worth having a go. And there's loads of recipes on the internet where you can have a go at making these things. The garden. I think the gardening is so good for health and well-being. We've got the grow your own potatoes, where you can register and they give you out, they send you free potatoes to grow, and it's part of like a competition. So which is the heaviest potato, the smallest, the misshape of a potato. And you can see me there in my class, my kids, we're weighing to see who's got the heaviest potato, and you can see by their faces they're all getting really into it. So yeah, really recommend doing that. You can do that at home as well, have a little competition at home. I also think it's really important that children know about that there are different colours of vegetables. So like carrots are not only orange, but they're purple and yellow. Same for like potatoes as well. So that's always a good one. And you can also link that with like diversity, how people look, why people are different. It's always a good little connection to make. Down the bottom, have a go at growing something unusual. We had a go at doing pumpkins last year and squash and different colour pumpkins, and that was a really good insight. So challenge yourself. You might even want to try and grow a watermelon or something. And then just above it, we've got all the fruits and vegetables that have seeds. And this is always a really good one. So I got my class during lockdown, challenged them to basically regrow the seeds that you find in the fruits and vegetables that they have. And funny enough, I think some of the seeds that they've dried out and regrown are doing better than the ones they bought in the shops. So and that's good circular. That's good circular economy to do. Really good insight. So don't think that you have to go out and buy the seeds. There are seeds there that you can get from vegetables and fruit, and then harvest what you've grown, and make a plant-based meal. Try and do one once a week. If not, try and make a plant-based meal every day. Make sure you have one for something for lunch or dinner. Challenge yourself, do something different. A good way of getting children to get into cooking and trying new vegetables and eating what they've grown, and it just tastes so much better than what you get from the shops as well. Another big hit at my school has been this Seek app, which is done by WWF, where you can you download the app onto your phone, or it could be an iPhone or an Android, and as long as you've got the internet, you can literally take a picture of what you're trying to identify, whether it's butterflies or flowers, and then it will tell you what you're looking at, which is fantastic. And I think it's been the biggest hit with my class, particularly when they've gone out on walks for their usual daily exercise. They've really enjoyed going into the forest and looking at trees and looking at different wildlife and flowers, and not knowing what they were walking past, they now know. They're a bit more clued up on their flowers and their trees and what they see around them. And definitely worthwhile. And you as you find things, you earn like badges and things. So you get like achievements when you find certain things. So yeah, I highly recommend the Seek app on WWF. Reusing items. So we've got reusing newspaper to make pots. We've got my Mr. Moore's toilet roll challenge, where basically I've challenged my class to find as many ways as possible to reuse a toilet roll. I think the record is about 14 different items. But I think that's still ongoing. I think children and even the parents are going to great lengths to outdo each other, which is great to see. Everyone likes a bit of competition. So yeah, that's a bird feeder. So that's using peanut butter, and then you roll it in the seeds, and then you can hang it up. We've got making a bird box out of a pot, collecting jars. I think lots of my parents have been collecting their jars of refilling them, using your old cups and saucers and mugs to, plant your flowers in. And then there's also the tote bag where you can use a t-shirt, and without sewing as well. So all the people that aren't so good at sewing, and like my good self, you can make your own tote bag out of a t-shirt, by just there's plenty of designs online, and you tie the bottom together, and you got your own little tote bag. But yeah, there's loads of ideas, different ways of reusing items, and challenge yourselves. You must have lots of things around your home that you probably don't use anymore, or you think, oh well, perhaps I could reuse that, or perhaps I could upcycle that to something else. That's always a good little challenge for children and for parents. Then you might want to do an eco code, perhaps for your house. So you're all on the same page, and you know what you're aiming for, and what your values are, and what your aims are. And these are two that I use at school that school children have designed. One they did on their own with the hedgehog, but the other one we worked with a graphic designer to make the other one. But they don't have to be as fancy as these. They could just be simply an easy list that you all abide by. I think that's a really good point of call. And here are some of the best websites that I found that I use. That'd be really good. I really recommend the Edd Earth School. That is just amazing. That's really good. It's just so well explained with its watch, think, dig deeper and discuss. You watch a video and do a little quiz, and then you learn a bit more, and then you then you can discuss it as well. And yeah, it's really good. Really recommend that. They put on a different environmental topic every day. We've got Plastic Oceans. So I've got some really good videos on there, with Sir David Attenborough explaining about what plastic is and what plastic pollution is, and it's just really clear for children. And they've got some great activities as well for children, becoming a superhero plastic hero. That's really good. Then we've got Certificate Sewage doing their ocean schools on a Tuesday and Friday live on Facebook. That's really good with Ellie. We've also got Jane Goodall Roots and Shoots. They've got some really good activities as well. Eco Schools, they put an activity up every Tuesday evening, and they've just launched their Nerdle Eco Schools Challenge, which some of you might want to check out, a new app. That looks really good. WWF, they do lots of webinars and lots of activities live that'll be really engaging for children. Oxfam as well. Common Seas, which is a new one, run by Joe Royal, who sailed a recycled plastic boat with 12,500 plastic bottles in 2010 on the Pacific Ocean. They're becoming quite well known now. They've got some great activities as well as part of their Ocean Plastic Academy. There's some good people to check out. And Design for Change, which is a global organisation. It's about having a positive mindset, an I can attitude. It's basically setting out a pledge where you might help people, animals, or the environment. It could be as simple as making a bee-friendly garden, help encouraging people to feed the birds, doing a litter pick in your community. Could be anything, and they're doing a big thing at the moment called Do Good from Home challenge. So yeah, we follow our own pledges at school, but you know, you might want to make a pledge and, you know, set a target. You know, 4 weeks we're going to make sure that our garden is, you know, growing lovely fruit and veg, or we're selling it to the community, or, you know, or we're helping to make our garden bee friendly, mini beast friendly, feed the birds, anything you like, you know, anything you like. But yeah, these are some of the good websites that I recommend that you use. And then you might want to aim for a Blue Peter badge after all that. I set a target last year with my class that, you know, would it be great if we all got a Blue Peter badge? And I think by the end of the year, about 20 out of 30 had got Blue Peter badge, which was extraordinary. So, you know, you do something good and at home, and, you know, you write a poem, you do a poster, you do some great growing in your garden, anything environmental, you know, what a great place to do. And, you know, aim for a Blue Peter badge, and, you know, it's great reward. And, you know, you get to go into, you know, when things start opening up, you can go into lots of places for half price or even for free with your parents. So I highly recommend, you know, going for a Blue Peter green badge. And then hopefully one day, or even, you know, I think it's really important that children have a platform where they can have a voice and say what they believe in, and these are the children from my school. We went to Westminster last year to meet Michael Gove because they had a real big passion. They wanted an all-in system for a deposit return scheme, and they were so passionate that we had this amazing opportunity to go and see Michael Gove, and they gave him a good old grilling on Newsround. And I'll play the clip to you in a moment. You know, since then they've gone from strength to strength, and you know, it's hopefully, you know, one day, you know, your child or your children at school will have the opportunity to, you know, have a great to have the opportunity that our children have had, you know, meeting Michael Gove, to meeting Jane Goodall, Prince Charles, Steve Backshall, the list goes on, and it would just be great, you know, be great to inspire other children and other schools to get involved and become an eco school, because it's so worthwhile. You know, it's going to be their future in many years to come, and it's such a great opportunity now to get children into it, and yeah, get children enjoying it as well. So let's see if I can work this out. So I'm going to just play with you the Newsround clip.
The sound's really hard to hear, Ed. I don't know if you can turn the sound up.
Okay.
Normally be recycled, like crisp wrappers, biscuit wrappers, things like that.
Go up a bit again.
Michael Gove is the minister in charge of things like the environment. What are you here to talk to him about? A deposit return system, which is where you pay like a small fee when you buy your bottle to drink, and then once you finish that drink, you would take it to a store with a deposit return system, which is one of these prices, and you'd get that money back. Why couldn't we have a deposit return system at the same time as Scotland?
Well, we're talking to the Scottish Government because we want to operate in exactly the same way. And we want to have it the same way across the whole United Kingdom.
In stories, the countryside is always clean. How can we make that real?
Well, I'm afraid, not just in the countryside, but overall. We need to make sure that we all use less plastic. Things like the deposit return scheme, make sure that we don't throw bottles away, but we know that there's value in putting them into a reverse vending machine like that. That is one thing. But there's more that we can do.
I'd be surprised if it's to get something like this.
I think it's perfectly fair to say that this is a problem that we haven't dealt with properly in the past. But now the pennies drop.
The next success story of deposit return.
I hope that we can make England and the whole UK a leader when it comes to dealing with waste and rubbish. I'll get all the MPs over there in the House of Commons to do the right thing.
The council needs to hurry up.
Get a move on. Well, our message received loud and clear.
I like what you said, but I think more could be done. I'm really proud of myself. Help for interviewing Michael Gove. It's important for our planet. So I think he's running out of time. I think he needs to hurry up.
That was brilliant. It was a little bit hard to hear. I don't know if that was just from my end or if everybody found that, but maybe if we post the link and people can go and watch that if it was a little bit hard to hear.
Okay, cool.
Is that your presentation? Because I've got loads of questions I want to ask.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
So guys, if you've got any questions for Ed, make sure you pop them in the chat. Katie's popped loads in here. Is Damus is it a first school, or because she said is it primary or secondary? But do you have that funny 3-school system in Dorchester?
Yes, we do. So yeah, we're a first school, so we're 4 to 9 years old.
Brilliant. And she said, does Young Enterprise do stuff for primary? Because we certainly did it when I was at secondary school, but I didn't know they did it at primary as well.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so they do something called the Fibre Challenge so it's for 5 to 11-year-olds. And they do the tenner challenge for much older children. I really recommend it. Obviously, sadly, this year it's not happening because of COVID, but hopefully next year it will be back running again. And it's just great, for everybody you have in your team. Say you got 10 children in your team, they each have £5 each, and you bring that together as collective as a group. So then you got £50, and then you got that money then to start up your business, and then out of the profit that you make, you give that £50 back to Young Enterprise, and then you keep the rest of the money that you make. So it's a great initiative for people to get involved with.
I was just thinking as well when you were saying that's something we could do with our kids at home at the moment. Give them a fiver and say, right, what can you make out of this? Or it has its constraints at the moment, but it's something we can do with our young people at home as well. Katie says, have you got anywhere we can find the recipe for the spick and span cleaner?
Yes, I have. I have got a recipe. I'd probably share that on social media. I can.
Pop it in the festival Facebook group. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, of course.
And another question from Katie about that was, she's always worried about sort of product testing and stuff. If you're selling stuff that's made at school, did you have to do any sort of product testing and certification or anything for any of the things?
We didn't do any certification. We did obviously we did some testing at school. Made a good science lesson, but it was interesting. Lots of people came to us and told us what it could do. We listed out what the 10 sort of items that you could use it for. And that was like part of our safety remit. But then people then started to come to us saying, "Oh, did you know that it could clean brass and it got the stain out of my carpet?" And we were just like, "Oh, brilliant! Okay, we'll add that to the list." So yeah, we didn't do any certification or anything, but we just worded it nicely and correctly. Just you sort of using it at your own discretion. Yeah. But these are the items that it works on.
Yeah. And Barbara's got a slightly different question. What would your suggestion for first steps to make a town reduce its plastic? How could we do that?
First steps, get your town council involved. Without our town council, it wouldn't have happened. So yeah, I would go to a town council meeting and get them on board first. If they're on board, then it's more likely then that more businesses will help out, and like, you know, your local town bid. And but yeah, definitely go to your town council first.
Brilliant. The main question I have for you is, do you have a Blue Peter badge?
No, I don't know. It's a really painful thing. It is. It ingrains me. My older brother, he got one when he was 7 or 8 years old, and it's the only thing he has over me, that he's got a Blue Peter badge and I haven't.
I love that. I'm just really, I think it's, and I was blown away when I spoke to you for the podcast as well. Just actually, when you stop and think about it, how simple it is to bring so much of this sustainability stuff into the curriculum really easily. And actually, from what, you know, from this presentation today, how we can do that at home so easily as well. It never occurred to me to set up an eco committee at home, like, because my kids, we don't have an eco committee at school at the moment, and they're a bit like, you know, feel a bit frustrated by that. But actually, I was just thinking, God, that's stupid. Why don't we just do that at home? And like you said, do that whole eco audit of our home with them and things like that. So yeah, that's given us a big load of things to do. One question I wanted to ask you was, I think, well, Samuel's sat next to me, so he might dispute this, but I feel like my kids are sometimes a bit like, oh, it's mummy's thing, and oh, it's really boring, and I don't want to do like. You must get some kids who are a bit like that, but I guess at school they can sort of engage or not engage, whereas I'm like, you will do this. Any tips for kind of getting them to engage and get on board?
Yeah, you know, you're not always going to please everybody, and I think that's what I found when starting out, even the staff. And I think there's still staff today that, you know, still dig their heels in and still want to do their own thing. And I would say, you know, get them involved as much as possible. You know, involve them in the activities that you're doing, and then, you know, that they'll end up being inspired about what you're doing. You know, so something will connect with them. But yeah, try and involve them as much as possible. You know, don't let them get away with not doing their bit.
Listening to that. They do love a litter pick. We do love a litter pick when we're allowed.
Yeah, do little things. Do little things like little litter picks is a great way to get people involved, and
especially if they've got the grabber. That's always, you know.
Well, yeah. Make it into a challenge. You know, making it competition. It's a great thing to do.
Maybe we ought to. I love that loo roll idea as well. Like how many ways to. It did make me laugh. Mr. Moore's toilet roll challenge. I was like, I don't want to know what you're doing with your toilet roll, Ed. But
the amount of things that people have done is just insane. It's just like taken off. It's just get inundated every day from my parents saying, "Oh, well, come up with this idea," and has everyone come up with this? And it's just like, just
what have you created?
Yeah, I know. What have I created? I thought it was going to be a daily thing. It's becoming like a weekly toilet roll news.
Oh, brilliant. This has been wonderful. And you've kind of fired me up to, you know, get doing some more stuff with the kids generally and specifically over this lockdown period. So thank you so much for that. And guys, I hope you found that really helpful. The replay will be up pretty much straight away. But yeah, and I'll also post the link to our podcast, Ed, because there was so much on there as well about the amazing thing that stuff that you're doing. But every time I speak to you, you make me smile. It's so lovely, and you're doing so much amazing stuff. So thank you so much, and I will hopefully catch you very soon. Take care.
Cool. Cheers, Jen. No, thanks a lot, everybody. Thank you.
Bye bye.